Okay, good morning everyone. So ang topic natin ngayon ay adrenal glands and its disorders. Okay, and as we had studied, the adrenal gland is also called suprarenal gland. Okay, bakit siya tinawag na suprarenal? Because it is actually located above the kidney. No? Hindi naman sila talaga magkaroon ng the same function. Wala. Talagang yung location lang ng adrenal gland, nandun lang. Kumbaga sabi ko nga sa anatomy, nakikipatong lang yung adrenal gland dun sa ibabaw ng kidney. That's why you also call it suprarenal gland. And this adrenal gland class has actually two parts. We have the adrenal medulla and the adrenal cortex. The inner portion of the adrenal gland is called the adrenal medulla, and the major secretion of the adrenal medulla ay catecholamines. Okay, ito yung epinephrine tsaka norepinephrine. Ito ba ang ating neurotransmitter for the nervous system, sympathetic nervous system? Yes, ito yung neurotransmitter natin. So pag marami kang catecholamines, na-enhance ang sympathetic response. Okay, and then the adrenal cortex or the outer portion of the adrenal gland is actually producing different types of hormones. So we have the zona glomerulosa producing mineralocorticoids. Okay, then we have the zona fasciculata producing glucocorticoids. Then we have the zona reticularis, which is actually producing androgens. Androgens are sex hormones. Cortisol are glucocorticoids, and aldosterone is the major mineralocorticoid. So these are the different secretions of the adrenal gland. Okay. Nabasa ko yung module. Sana basahin mo rin yung module. Alam mo, pag nakinig ka ng lecture, kung hindi ka pa nagbabasa, makinig ka muna ng lecture, basahin mo yung module, and then kung ano yung nabasa mong disorder dito o napakinggan mo, balikan mo ngayon yung libro natin, tapos basahin mo siya ulit. Kasi that way, mas maiintindihan mo yon. Okay? Sige, puntahan muna natin yung disorder dito sa medulla. Okay, ito medyo sikat to eh. Wala kasi ito sa PowerPoint ko, but nakita ko nandun siya sa ating module. By the way mag-open ako ng mga TASA modules na sana gagawin natin. Hahabaan ko naman yung deadline noon, pero gagawin nyo yun kasi importante yun. Tsaka additional grades din yun, no? Para sa inyong additional grading yun para sa end of the semester. I-open ko yun siguro hanggang bago mag-end ng midterm. Matagal yun So dapat wala nang excuses kasi kung kailan naman deadline tsaka gagawin. So dapat alam natin yan Okay. So again, the adrenal medulla, meron tayong common problem there. Magkakaroon siya ng tumor. The tumor of the adrenal medulla. Usually this tumor is benign. Okay, benign lang naman yung tumor. Pero meron ding mga malignant tumor. Pero majority ay benign. Ang tawag natin dito ay pheochromocytoma. Ano bang sabi natin dito sa mga tumor na to? Ang hirap sa mga tumor na to, nakikitubo na lang sila sa katawan natin, nakikirelease pa sila ng mga hormones natin. So this tumor is producing a lot of catecholamines. Okay. Ito ba yung epinephrine and norepinephrine? Yes. So, kung yung tumor na to, diyan sa adrenal medulla, dumadami ang secretion ng epinephrine at norepinephrine. So, what will happen? Nako, you will enhance sympathetic responses. So, magkakaroon ng increased heart rate, magkakaroon ng increased blood pressure, tama ba? Magkakaroon ng sweating or diaphoresis, diba? Hypertension, tachycardia, at severe yung hypertension nila in such that patients will manifest what they call hypertensive crisis. Pag sinabi natin hypertensive crisis, the blood pressure is more than 180 over more than 100. Ganun. Okay, ang tawag din nila dyan ay malignant hypertension. Okay. Ma'am, benign lang naman yung tumor at malignant yung hypertension. Okay. Actually, kaya siya tinawag na malignant hypertension is that although we can control hypertension medication, you cannot actually cure it without surgery. So the best management for pheochromocytoma is to remove the tumor. Okay, tanggalin mo yung tumor. Okay, you may even remove the entire adrenal gland. So patients may undergo adrenalectomy where the tumor is. Kaya yung tumor lang mismo ang tatanggalin nila. Okay, this is called pheochromocytoma. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do we understand? Yes, okay. So this is one condition of the adrenal gland. Again, ang tawag natin ay tumor of the adrenal medulla. Okay? So can I erase them now? Pwede ko na bang i-erase? Pwede na? Pwede na? Yes? Yes. Okay, very good. Erase na natin. Okay, now let's go and let us proceed to, discuss na natin to. Ayan, let us proceed to our adrenal gland. Yan. So kanina, let's talk about adrenal cortex naman. 'Di ba sabi natin, meron kang zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, at saka zona reticularis. And they are producing the following hormones. The major glucocorticoid hormone, ito, major hormone ito, ang example nito ay cortisol. Okay. Ito naman, ang major mineralocorticoid, ang example nito ay aldosterone. Okay. Ito naman, ang example nito, majority ay androgen. Okay. Ma'am, nakita namin kanina, nagpo-produce din naman ng estrogen. Oo, pero ang major secretion niyan ay androgen, male sex hormones. Alam nyo, kapag nagre-review na kayo for the board exam, sasabihin ng mga reviewer, sasabihin, madali lang naman yan. Alam mo, ang tatandaan mo lang dyan sa hormones na yan, SSS. Yan, sabi nila, madali lang yan. Yung tatlong hormones na yan, SSS lang yan. SSS. Okay, ano yon? Itong glucocorticoids, sugar regulation. Itong mineralocorticoid, sodium regulation. Ito, sex hormone, S. Okay, kaya SSS. Sugar, sodium, sex. Para madaling tandaan, ano? Sugar, sodium, sex. Okay, kaya lang, sabi ko nga, okay lang naman yan para maalala mo yan. Okay, pero hindi pwedeng yan lang. Marami pang function, lalo na yung cortisol. Daming function yan eh. So you will not be only focusing on the SSS, but on other functions as well. So pag-usapan muna natin yung function, kasi pag alam natin ang function, alam natin ang signs and symptoms. Okay. Nakakasunod ba tayo? Mabilis ba or okay lang? Mabilis ba or okay lang? Nakakasunod ba? Nakakasunod? Okay lang. Sige, very good. So umpisahan muna natin dito sa madali. O yung mga anak, 30 kayo dyan. O, isa lang sumasagot. O, 2, 3. Pare-parehong apelido ng nakikita ko dito. Sumagot ka para maalala ko apelido mo. Sumagot ka. Okay. Nagsusulat ba kayo? Yan, very good. May notebook ka? Okay, very good. Ha? Magsulat ka yan. Dumadami na sila. Okay, very good yan. Unahin natin tong androgen. Kasi yung androgen, madali lang to eh. Di ba sabi ko nga, although the adrenal cortex will also produce estrogen, kasi nakalagay nga dun sa picture, nakita mo kanina, no? Pero ang major secretion nila ay androgen. This is a male sex hormone. Ma'am, kung male sex hormone yan, ma'am, kagaya rin ba yan ng testosterone? Yes, actually yes. Male sex hormone. Okay, so this is responsible for secondary sex characteristic in men. Characteristics in men. So parang testosterone like. Oo, parang testosterone like din yan. Okay, so yan yung androgen. Okay, this is our androgen. Okay, ma'am, yung aldosterone naman. Ito, aldosterone. Tandaan mo ha. Okay, what is the action of aldosterone? Okay, aldosterone acts in the kidneys. Anong gagawin ng aldosterone sa kidney? To increase sodium and water reabsorption. Ibig sabihin, instead of excreting the sodium and the water, imbis na ilalabas mo yung sodium mo at saka yung water mo, ibabalik mo yan sa blood. So that is increased sodium and water reabsorption. Dito ha, ayan. Kaya ngayong isang S na yan, that is for sodium. Okay. Pero you don't just memorize it like this. Okay. Kailangan alam mo kung ano yung kasunod niya. So pag dumami yung sodium, so what will happen? Okay. Tataas yung sodium sa blood. Okay. Dadami rin yung blood volume. Diba? So there is hypernatremia. Okay. And hypervolemia. Tataas yung sodium, tataas yung water. Okay, so dalawa lang naman ang problem natin, di ba? Okay. Under normal circumstances pa, ma'am, nire-release natin yan. Oo, pag bumababa yung blood volume, bumababa yung sodium, dadami yung aldosterone para tumaas yan. That's a compensatory mechanism. Okay, pag sumobra ka niyan, parang alam mo na kung anong mangyayari pag sobra, di ba? Pag sobra, nalagay ko ha, pag nagkaroon ng overproduction, so what will happen? Ayan, magkakaroon ng hypernatremia, hypervolemia, okay? Pag may hypervolemia ba, pwede bang magkaroon ng hypertension? Yes, okay. Paano pagka underproduction naman? Kulang. Dalawa lang naman ang problema natin sa hormone, di ba? Either overproduction or underproduction. Magkakaroon ka naman ng hyponatremia and hypovolemia. At pag mababa ang volume, pwede bang magkaroon ng hypotension? Yes. Okay. So these are the problems when there is over or underproduction. Teka, balikan natin tong si androgen. Ma'am, itong androgen na to. Androgen. Di ba male characteristic to? Oo. Kung ang pasyente natin lalaki, pag overproduction, parang wala naman tayong problem kasi lalaki naman talaga sila. Pero ang problema mo dyan, pag nag-overproduction sa babae. Sa babae. Ano ngayon ang makikita mo? You see, a characteristic of men in women. Diba? Ang tawag doon, virilization. Virilization is the development of male secondary characteristic in women. Virilization. Tapos makikita mo magkakaroon siya ng mga hair body. Ayan, body hair. No? Magkakaroon siya ng hirsutism. Okay, magkakaroon siya ng hirsutism. Okay, so there is virilization, there is hirsutism. Ma'am, pag underproduction naman. Pag underproduction naman, wala naman sanang problema, di ba? Sa lalaki, may testosterone naman sila. Sa babae, hindi naman natin kailangan yan. But one important characteristic of androgen is that it increases muscle mass. Muscle mass. Di ba yung mga ibang nagba-bodybuilding, sabi nila nag-i-inject sila ng steroid, no? This is the steroid that they are using, yung androgen, para lumaki yung muscle mass. Pero so pag nag-underproduction, pag severe ang underproduction, the patient may have muscle wasting. Ayan, muscle wasting. Kasi mawawala yung androgen that will increase your muscle mass. So dalawa lang yung problema natin. Pag alam mo yung function, magkakaroon ka ng dalawang problem, either underproduction or overproduction. That's your androgen and your aldosterone. Do you follow? Nakakasunod tayo. Nakakasunod? Okay. Tapos na bang kopyahin? Can I erase now? Then let's talk about the function of cortisol. Tapos na bang kopyahin? Done. Okay. Done na ha? Hindi ko pa nakikita yung prelim exam nyo. Sana pasado ha? Mahirap ba? Mahirap ba? Mahirap ba yung exam nyo? Mahirap. Sabi natin, tayo ay mag-aral. Tayo ay magbasa. Okay, hindi ako nagkukulang sa pagpapaalala sa inyo na tayo ay magbasa. Okay? O, sige, let's go to cortisol. Hinuli ko to kasi ang dami-daming function ito. Di ba sabi natin kanina, 3 lang ma'am SSS. Di ba? Sugar, sodium, sex. Okay. Pero hindi nga lang yun di ba? So lalo na tong cortisol. Ano pang role ng cortisol sa sugar? Okay, this will increase glucose in the blood. Tumataas yung glucose sa blood. Di ba? Class, if you remember, I told you that the most active, the most active gland in the body under stress is the adrenal gland. So pag nai-stress tayo, yung adrenal gland na yan, nagpo-produce ng hormones yan. Nagpo-produce ng cortisol yan. Nakakataas ng blood sugar level ang stress. Correct. This is one risk factor for a person to develop diabetes. Yan ang role ng cortisol sa glucose. Tumataas ang glucose sa blood. Number 2, the cortisol will also increase hydrochloric acid secretion in the GI tract. Pag nai-stress ka ba, tumadami ba yung cortisol release? Oo. Kaya yung mga ibang pasyente nagkakaroon ng stress ulcer because of increased hydrochloric acid secretion. Diba? Tapos, sabi natin, ma'am, ba't kasi nare-release yan kapag nai-stress tayo? Kasi ang cortisol natin may anti-stress property. Medyo nalilesen yung stress natin kapag lumalabas yan. Tapos, itong cortisol na to, may anti-inflammatory effect. Diba? Ito rin yung ginaya na synthetic steroid. Ito yung kagaya ng prednisone, hydrocortisone. Diba? May anti-inflammatory effect. Ano ba yung anti-inflammatory effect nila? They may suppress WBC function. They may suppress WBC function. Okay? So, increased glucose in the blood, increased hydrochloric acid, anti-stress property, anti-inflammatory effect. Ito yung function ng cortisol. Hindi lang yan. May iba pa. It causes water retention. Nagpo-cause ng water retention yan. Okay. Ano pa? Your cortisol will also increase osteoclast activity. Di ba? Pag sinabi mo yung osteoclast activity, this will cause bone resorption. Ibig sabihin, you are getting calcium from the bone and put it in the blood. Calcium from the bone is going into the blood. Well, mangyayari lang naman yan kung kailangan mo under normal circumstances. Pero kung hindi mo naman kailangan yan, hindi naman mangyayari yan. Kaya kapag tayo ay nai-stress, grabe, lumalabas yung cortisol. Ang dami nating effect sa katawan kasi ang daming effect ng cortisol, right? So I hope we are following here, ha? So ito yung mga effect. Ngayon, dalawa lang naman din ang problem natin. Kung hindi sobra ay kulang. So if these are the properties or the functions of the cortisol, what do we expect kapag merong overproduction? Okay, by the way, cortisol will also cause mobilization of fats. Mobilization of fats. Okay, so kapag overproduction, lagay natin, sobra, di ba? Pag overproduction, anong mga manifestation? The patient will have hyperglycemia o alam mo na ang mangyayari. Ang isang tao na may hyperglycemia, may polyuria, may polydipsia, may polyphagia, lahat ng signs and symptoms ng patient na may diabetes, meron siya. Kasi mataas ang sugar level Did you get it? Did you get it? Okay, naintindihan ha. Diba? Dami yung manifestation. So there is also hyperchloremia. Ako, ibig sabihin, dadami yung hydrochloric acid. Okay, huwag nating lagay yan. Baka akala mo, chloride yan. Okay, lagay natin, increase hydrochloric acid. So, pwede ba siyang magkaroon ng ulcer formation? Oo naman. Okay, tataas yan. Okay, what will happen? Magdi-decrease ang WBC kasi na-suppress ang WBC function. Diba? So the patient will be susceptible to infection. Okay. Ma'am, magkakaroon siya ng water retention? Oo. So that can lead to hypervolemia and hypertension. Ma'am, tapos may edema rin siya. Oo naman. the patient will have edema. Okay? Tapos, pwede bang masira yung bone niya? Oo. Patient can have osteoporosis. Kaya yung mga pasyente na gumagamit ng steroids like this, they are prone to develop all of this as well. Ika? There is increased mobilization of fats, and maldeposition of fats. Saan madedeposit yung fat? Sa face. So nagkakaroon ng moon face, okay, truncal obesity sa tiyan, tapos sa balikat. So the patient will have buffalo hump. Okay, buffalo hump. Ayan. Nako, ang dami. Dahil nagkakaroon ng water retention, tumataba yung patient, the patient will have weight gain. So you're going to see ruptured elastic fibers, yung tinatawag nilang purple striae dyan sa abdomen. Okay? Pag overproduction, ang dami-daming problema. Diba? Okay. Pag underproduction naman, ano naman ang problema? Okay, di baliktarin natin ito lahat. Pero, sabi ko nga sa inyo, huwag mong i-memorize yung baliktaran. Memorize mo yung function. So, the patient will have hypoglycemia and all the signs and symptoms of hypoglycemia. There is decreased hydrochloric acid production. Delikado naman yan because hydrochloric acid is needed for digestion of proteins. So, there is decreased digestion. Diba? O ano pa? There is decreased water retention. Naku, magkakaroon ng hypovolemia. O, magkakaroon ng hypotension. Pwede bang mag-shock? Anong type ng shock? Okay. Class, anong type ng shock? Pwedeng mag-shock. Anong type ng shock? 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 Hypovolemic shock. Very good. So, hypovolemic shock. Okay. Ano pa? The patient will have decreased mobilization of fats. Kaya yung pasyente mo nagkakaroon ng weight loss. Pumapaya. Yeah. These are the problems with underproduction of these hormones. Pag-uusapan natin what are the causes of underproduction. Okay? Do you understand? Naintindihan ba ako? Yes? Konting kaluluwa lang yung sumasagot. Ang dami nyo dyan. Naka, 33 na lang tayo. Ano ba tayo nag-umpisa? Sige nga. Let's have a number game. Okay? Ilan na lang kaya tayo pagkatapos ng klase? Okay. Ang makakahula may premyo sa akin. Sige. At mas malaki ang premyo mo kung makikilala mo kung sino ang nawala. Intravitreal injection. Intravitreal injection. Are you sure? Ano ginawa mo? Yan. 31, 28. Grabe. 33 na. Feel ko po madadagdag. Wow, ikaw na nakaramdam ng feel na nadagdagan. Sige. Sige ha. Mas maganda yun. Sige nga, hulaan mo nga. 33 daw kayo ngayon. Sige. Ilang kaya tayo pag natapos na tayo? At sino ang mawawala? Sige nga. Okay. So ito yung function and these are the clinical manifestations kapag sobra or kulang. Okay? And then let's talk about anong sakit yun, ma'am. Okay? At ano ang dahilan nun at ano ang mangyayari. Okay. Tapos na ba? Are we done writing? Kasi bago tayo pumunta sa mga sakit, we will review back our feedback mechanisms. Tapos na po. Okay. Done na ha. Surayin na natin. Okay. Reviewin natin yung feedback mechanism. Just like the other hormones, itong adrenal cortex, meron din siyang feedback mechanisms. Okay. Paano nga yung feedback mechanisms? Okay. Under normal circumstances, this is really very important. Diba? Yung pituitary gland natin, ayan, yung pituitary gland, nagpo-produce siya ng adrenocorticotropic hormone, ayan, the ACTH. And the adrenal corticotropic hormone will stimulate the adrenal cortex. Mag-stimulate ito ng adrenal cortex. Okay. So that the adrenal cortex will produce, yung tatlo. Okay. Aldosterone, cortisol, androgen. Tawagan na lang natin silang ACA. Aldosterone, cortisol, at androgen. Okay. Nakakasunod ka? Nakakasunod ka? Alright. Okay. Now what will happen? Listen ha. Pag tumataas ang hormones, naalala mo to? Pag tumataas ang hormones na yan, nagsesend ito ng feedback sa pituitary gland. Para ano? Para hindi na siya mag-produce. Okay? Anong tawag natin dyan? Ang tawag natin, negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback mechanism. Okay, negative feedback mechanism. Okay, so that's your negative feedback mechanism. So that the pituitary gland will not produce ACTH anymore. So what will happen to the level of ACTH? The level of ACTH will go down. There will be no more stimulation to adrenal cortex, and the ACA will actually go back to normal. Ano yung ACA? Aldosterone, cortisol, and androgen. Under normal circumstances, this is what we call the negative feedback mechanism. Naintindihan ako? Naintindihan? Okay. Alright. Likewise, okay. Pag bumababa naman ang aldosterone, cortisol, at androgen, okay, ito naman po ay nagsesend ng signal doon sa pituitary gland. Para ano? Para ma-stimulate ang pituitary gland para mag-produce ng ACA. Ano naman ang tawag doon? Ang tawag naman ay positive feedback mechanism. Positive feedback mechanism. So what will happen? Tataas ngayon ang secretion ng ACTH, ma-stimulate ang adrenal gland, and the ACA now will go back to normal. Okay. Normal na ulit yung ACA. Ang tawag dyan ay positive feedback mechanism. Okay. So meron tayong regulation so that the level of hormone in the blood is always normal. Do you follow? Do you understand? Naintindihan ako? Okay, very good. Naintindihan ha? Okay. Makinig tayo. In overproduction or underproduction, okay, one of the diagnostic tests, paano namin malalaman, ma'am, kung yan ay sobra or kulang? Una, you check the level of ACA. Pag mataas, overproduction. Pag mababa, underproduction. Okay? Then, you need to check the level of ACTH level. O teka muna, bakit kailangan natin malaman yung level ng ACTH? This will determine where the problem of the patient is. This will determine where the problem of the patient is. Okay? This will determine where the problem of the patient is. Halimbawa, ha, lalagyan natin ng ganito. Sobrang taas, ibahin ko yung kulay, sobrang taas ng ACTH. O, pag mataas ang ACTH, ano? Hyper o hypo? Sagot. Hyper o hypo? Sagot. Hyper o hypo? Hyper. Tama? Hyper. Okay, hyper. Okay. O ano ngayon ang problema? Sa pituitary gland ba? Or sa adrenal cortex? O makinig ha. Kung mataas ang ACA, hyper. Tapos nakita mo yung ACTH level mababa. Ay, ibig sabihin ito, yung negative feedback mechanism is functioning well. Wala kang problema sa pituitary gland. Eh ma'am, ba't mataas pa rin itong ACA? The problem is in the adrenal cortex. So ulit ha, pag mataas ito, pero mababa ito, normal ang pituitary gland. Okay? So where is the problem? The problem is in the adrenal cortex. Okay. Ngayon, paano kung mababa naman? Okay. Mababa ang ACA. Hypo o hyper? Ay, sorry, wait. Mataas muna ulit. Mataas to. Hyper. Okay. Mataas, hyper. Pero nakita mo yung ACTH mo, mataas din. So kung ito mataas, walang feedback mechanism. Tama? O anong problema mo? Ang problema mo ay yung pituitary gland. Ulitin natin. Pag ito mataas, hyper, ito mababa, normal ang pituitary gland. Nasaan ang problema ko? Adrenal cortex. Pag ito mataas, ang ACTH mataas din, ay wala kang feedback control. Where is your problem? The problem is in the pituitary gland. Did you get it? Naintindihan ako. Oy, pare-parehong mga pangalan ang nakikita ko dito sa chat box. Sasagot tayong lahat. Sumagot tayo. Gumalaw ka dyan, mamaya tulog ka na. Okay, pare-parehong pangalan to ha. Okay, ganun din naman kapag kulang. Okay, halimbawa, kulang ang Okay, halimbawa kulang ang ACA. Halimbawa kulang naman to, kulang. Okay. Tapos nung chinek mo yung ACTH, abay mataas. So ibig sabihin, normal ang pituitary gland because the positive feedback is normal. Ba't mababa pa rin siya? Nasaan ang problem ko? Sa adrenal cortex. Pero kung ito mababa rin, teka, where is the problem? The problem is in the pituitary gland. Wala siyang feedback mechanism. So yung level ng ACTH magdedetermine kung nasaan ang problem. Kung mababa ito, mababa ang ACTH, where is the problem? Pituitary gland. Kung mababa ito, mataas pa rin ang ACTH, where is the problem? Adrenal cortex. Did you get it? So, ang mag-identify nasaan ang problema, either nasa pituitary gland or nasa adrenal cortex. Alam nyo kung saan mas common ang problem? Mas common ang problem sa adrenal cortex. Dito mas common ang problem. Well, and the most common problem there is hypersecretion. And the most common cause of hypersecretion is, alam mo naman yung sinabi ko, mga tumor na nakikitubo na lang. nakikirelease pa ng hormones natin. So we can see that on MRI, we can see that on CT scan. Para makita natin yung adrenal gland kung ano talaga ang problema. And the most common problem pag hypersecretion ay tumor. So MRI and CT scan is part of the assessment on patients with adrenal gland problem. Yung isang pasyente ko ngayon, normal yung cortisol niya, pero tumataas yung aldosterone niya. So he was asked to undergo CT scan or MRI of the adrenal gland. Actually, hindi ko pa alam kung anong result. Okay, so this is our feedback mechanism that is also happening in patients with adrenal cortex disorder. Okay, do you understand? Did you get it? So is it important to detect the level of ACTH? Yes, para malaman natin kung where the problem of the patient is. Learning tayo. Learning tayo. Yes, yes. Okay, very good. Okay. Pwede ko na bang i-erase to? Okay. So meron tayong dalawang problema ngayon. Either sobra or kulang. So let's start with overproduction. Okay. So kapag sumobra tayo ng adrenal cortex hormone, ang tawag natin Cushing's disease. Okay. Ma'am, ano pong difference ng Cushing's disease sa Cushing's syndrome? Okay. Diba, pag sinabi natin yung salitang syndrome, that is a collection of signs and symptoms referable to overproduction of adrenal cortex hormone. Okay. So yung Cushing syndrome, ito yung malawak na may problema. Okay. Ano ngayon ang mga nagko-cause nitong mga ito? Okay. Kapag ang cause ng overproduction usually is either tumor, lagay ko dito ha, adrenal gland tumor, or hyperplasia of the adrenal gland, ang tawag doon, Cushing's disease. Ayan, ang tawag dyan, Cushing's disease. Yun kasi yung primary cause. Okay. O ngayon, ma'am, paano kung ang cause ay overuse of your steroids? Masyadong nag-overuse ng prednisone. Overuse of steroids. Okay. Ito, hindi siya yung disease itself. Kasi yung disease, ang may problema talaga yung adrenal cortex, like you have a tumor or hyperplasia. Ito, ang tawag dito ay Cushing's syndrome. You are seeing the clinical manifestation of Cushing's. Okay? So yan yun ha. Sabi nga nung iba, ma'am, yung pinakamas mataas yung Cushing's syndrome, and one primary cause is Cushing's disease. Another possible cause is overuse of steroids. Yan. Actually, common yung overuse of steroids sa atin. Okay, pero pinaka-common talaga ang Cushing's problem ay adrenal gland tumor. Pwedeng benign, pwedeng malignant. Okay? So pag sinabi mong disease, ma'am, ang problem natin nasa adrenal gland. Oo. Okay, o kaya nandun sa ACTH. There is too much ACTH, okay, and too much steroid or cortisol. Yan, Cushing's disease. Okay, ito yung causes. So what are the clinical manifestations? Sabihin mo sa akin, overproduction or underproduction gain. Okay. Underproduction or overproduction? Okay, marami tayo dyan. Sumagot kayo ha. O, 33 pa rin kami. Ayan. So there is overproduction. Overproduction of aldosterone, cortisol, and androgen. Sumobra. Kapag ang dahilan natin ay Cushing's syndrome or overuse of steroids, there is only increased cortisol. Okay, ito lang yan. Pag Cushing's syndrome, increased cortisol lang. Pero pag Cushing's disease, overproduction of all adrenal gland hormone. Okay. Sige nga, what are the clinical manifestations? Okay. What are the signs and symptoms? Kakasabi ko lang kanina eh. Hypoglycemia o hyperglycemia. Game. Okay, the patient will have hyperglycemia. Ang patient ba magkakaroon ng signs and symptoms of diabetes mellitus? Yes, okay. Increase or decrease hydrochloric acid production. Increase or decrease hydrochloric acid production. Increase hydrochloric acid production. Very good. Okay. Ano pa? Increase or decrease osteoclast activity. Increase osteoclast activity. Pag nag-increase ang osteoclast activity, the patient may have osteoporosis. Diba? Osteoporosis. Hihina pati buto niya. Okay. There is increase or decrease deposition of fats. Mobilization. Increase din. So, increase mobilization and maldeposition of fats. Saan? Sa mukha. Moon face. Sa balikat, sa likod. Buffalo hump. Buffalo hump. And frontal obesity. Okay. Tapos, na-stretch yung mga skin niya dito sa tiyan because of that. So, there will be purple striae. Ay, ang dami. Pag tumaas yung androgen, halimbawa, babae yung pasyente. Anong tawag doon? If the female is developing the characteristic of men, anong tawag doon? Ang tawag doon ay nagkakaroon siya ng bigote, ang babae nagkabiko, ayun, ang tawag ay virilization. Nagkaroon ng hirsutism. Eh kung totoong babae yan, edi ang sagwa niyang tignan, yung babae nagmumukhang lalaki because of androgen. Okay, lagay natin overproduction of androgen. Ang patient natin ay babae. Overproduction. Okay, o, tapos, ano pa? Kapag dumami yung aldosterone, lahat mataas eh, di ba? So, pag dumami yung aldosterone, hyper o hyponatremia game. What will happen to sodium? Tataas pa baba? Okay, there is hypernatremia. Hyper o hypovolemia. Wherever sodium goes, water will follow, di ba? O hyper o hypovolemia. Hypervolemia. Pwede bang may hyper o hypotension? Okay, the patient will have hypertension. Grabe, ang dami niyang clinical manifestations. Okay, at alam mo ba, mapabata man yan, mapa-teenager man yan, mapa-adult man yan, or elderly man yan, you will have the same clinical features. Parang pare-pareho yung kanilang mga itsura. A patient with Cushing's disease. Sige nga, tignan natin kung anong itsura ha. Okay. Oh, are we done writing? Can we erase now? Sabihin mo sa akin pag tapos na o pag hindi pa tapos. Sabihin mo, ma'am, wait lang. Ayan. Pag wait ka lang, hindi ka pa tapos nun, di ba? Done, done. Okay, thank you. How about the others? Are we done, all of us? Nagsusulat kayo. Nagsusulat kayo. Magsi-CA1 na kayo next year. Nagsusulat ka. Okay? Alright. So sabi natin, ito yung, those are the signs and symptoms. Sinabi ko na. So if you're going to see a patient, ganitong itsura niya. Ito yung tinatawag na purple strain, buffalo hump, moon face, truncal obesity. Makita mo ang liit ng legs niya pero malaki yung tiyan. These are the purple strain, and these are all the manifestations. Okay, upper body obesity with thin arms and legs, buffalo hump, round face, high blood sugar, hypertension, vertigo, blurry vision, acne, secondary to the androgen secretion, female balding, water retention, edema, menstrual irregularities, thin skin and bulging, purple strain, poor wound healing because of decreased WBC function, hirsutism, severe depression, cognitive difficulties, emotional instability, sleep disorders, and fatigue. Ito yung tinatawag nating Cushing's syndrome. Kapag sinabi nating disease, okay. So these are the signs and symptoms. So siguro kung gagawa ka ng nursing diagnosis, there is fluid volume excess. Tama? Ma'am, disturbed body image. Okay. Risk for infection. Tama? Risk for injury. Tama ba? Risk for complications. Fatigue. Activity intolerance. Risk for impaired skin integrity. Risk for gangrene or complications because of poor wound healing. Tandaan mo, yung patient na may Cushing syndrome, hindi lang ito ang manifestations nila. Lahat ng signs and symptoms ng tao na may diabetes, yan din ang signs and symptoms nila. Okay? Learning ba tayo? Matututo. Okay, very good. So this is your Cushing's syndrome. Okay? How do we manage our patient? Lagyan natin ng nursing diagnosis. What is your priority nursing diagnosis? Our priority nursing diagnosis, siyempre, circulatory problem, that's fluid volume excess. Okay. So kung ang problem natin ay fluid volume excess, how do we manage our patient? Number one, restrict fluid. Tama? Okay. Restrict sodium. Taas na ng sodium niya, di ba? Okay, ano pa? Monitor intake and output. Okay? Monitor vital signs. Weigh your patient daily. Diet. Anong diet? Restrict sodium-rich food. Increase potassium-rich food. Bakit? Kasi na-absorb natin ang sodium, nilalabas natin ang potassium. Diba? Okay, yes. Low fat, low cholesterol diet. Okay. Ano pa? Skin care. There is thin skin and there is possible poor wound healing. Promote rest. Tama? Or provide rest periods. Promote safety. Provide rest period. Promote safety measures. Okay? O tapos, Okay, i-manage natin yung cause. If the cause of Cushing's disease is tumor, okay, we will do surgery. Surgery. Okay, anong surgery ang ginagawa? The patient may undergo bilateral adrenalectomy if the problem is hyperplasia of the adrenal gland. Pero kung ang problem natin ay tumor sa isang side lang, o di adrenalectomy lang. Okay? Meron po bang gamot na pwedeng mag-decrease ng secretions ng mga hormones na to? I think even in the latest edition, meron pa rin siya nung glutathione at saka methotane. Okay? Tapos, kung tumor yan, baka kailangan niya ng chemotherapy o kaya baka kailangan niya ng radiation therapy for possibility of tumor. Cushing's disease. Ma'am, paano kung ang cause natin ay overuse of steroids? Naku, tandaan mo to, ha? Kapag ang cause natin is overuse of steroids, if the cause is overuse of steroids, anong ang gagawin mo? Tandaan mo to, gradual withdrawal of steroids. To prevent, lalagay natin yan, to prevent adrenal insufficiency. Okay? Ito, tinanong to sa board exam. Paano nangyayari yun? Bakit ganun? Bakit kailangan merong gradual withdrawal of steroids? At saka bakit nagkakaroon ng adrenal insufficiency? Class, pag sinabi mong adrenal insufficiency, kumukulang yung adrenal gland hormone. Bakit ganun? Sobra na nga kasi nag-overuse ka eh. Pero pag tinanggal mo na bigla yung steroids, bigla siyang babagsak. Bakit ganun? Bakit ganun? Makinig tayo, ha? Kagaya ng pinag-usapan natin kanina, yung pituitary gland ay magpo-produce ng adrenocorticotropic hormone. Diba? And this adrenocorticotropic hormone will go to the adrenal gland. Okay? Ayan sa adrenal gland. Ano nga ulit ang ipoproduce ng adrenal gland? Iisahin ko na lang ha, yung cortisol na lang. Cortisol. Okay. Diba sabi ko kanina, pag dumadami yung amount ng cortisol, nagsiset ng signal sa pituitary gland, diba? Pag ito tumataas, sabi natin, diba nagsisend ng signal dito para sa negative feedback. Do you understand that? Naintindihan mo ba yun? Naintindihan mo ba yun? Uy, naintindihan nyo ba yun? Okay, makinig tayo ngayon ha. Okay. Alimbawa, itong pasyente natin, anong ginawa niya? Uminom siya ng uminom ng cortisol. Uminom. Walang tigil. Ginawang candy yung cortisol. There is increased cortisol in the blood. Magsisend ba to ng feedback mechanism? Oo naman. What will happen to the level of ACTH? Babagsak. May stimulation pa ba sa adrenal gland? Wala na. What will happen to adrenal gland? For a long period of time, kung walang nag-stimulate sa adrenal gland, mag-a-atrophy ang adrenal gland. Mag-a-atrophy. Hindi na siya magpo-produce. Hindi mo na kailangan eh. Nagtitake ka na from the outside eh. Tapos sabi mo sa sarili mo, ay, ayoko na mag-take. Ayaw mo na agad nag-take. Ayaw mo na agad nag-take. Ay, kung ayaw mo na agad mag-take, teka muna. Ano nangyari sa adrenal gland? Nag-atrophy. Makakaproduce ba agad ito ng cortisol? Hindi. Anong tawag doon? adrenal insufficiency. At yung adrenal insufficiency naman, ang tawag Addison's disease. Okay. So paano gagawin natin? Ang gagawin mo ganito. Pag marami ka nang nainom, inom siya ng inom, inom siya ng inom. Pag marami ka nang nainom, ang gagawin mo, dahan-dahan mo siyang tatanggalin. Dahan-dahan mo siyang tatanggalin, dahan-dahan. So dahan-dahang ma-stimulate ito, dahan-dahang tataas to, dahan-dahan. At dahan-dahang ma-stimulate ang adrenal gland, dahan-dahan. Para ano mangyari? Para siya ay ma-activate ulit. Okay, lagay natin. Para yung adrenal gland ma-activate. So pag dahan-dahan siyang tinanggal, dahan-dahang ma-activate, dahan-dahan magpuproduce ulit ng cortisol. So with adrenal insufficiency. Understand. Uy, do you understand? Okay, very good. So ito yung tinatawag nating Cushing's disease. Ulitin ko, I will be opening up tasks for midterm exam. Ito, sasama ko to para mas maintindihan yung mabuti. CO 7 at saka CO 8. Para mag-aral ko, para magpasa ko, nag-a-advance na tayo. Sadali na lang to, tapos na yung CO 7. Mamaya, tatapusin ko yung CO 8. O, tapos na siya. Neuro na tayo. Ang haba kasi ng neuro eh. Kailangan nating mag-advance doon. Alright? Are we done writing? Tapos na bang magsulat? Sabihin nyo pag tapos na, done na. Itong mga pangalan na to, pare-pareho lang. O, 33 na ba yan? Parang 1, 2, 3, 4, titignan ko lang. 5, 6, thank you. Ngayon ka lang nag-text. 7, 8, 9, 10. Nagbilang talaga ako ha. O 10, wala na. 10 lang sumagot. O ikaw umulit ka na anak. Umulit ka ulit. 11. O, muna kakabisado ko yung pangalan mo. Sige kayo ha. Pag hindi ko alam pangalan mo, bahala ka sa buhay mo. Okay? Alright, so this is Cushing's. Doon naman tayo sa kulang. Anong tawag natin pag kulang? Ang tawag ay Addison's disease. Okay? So this is also called adrenal insufficiency. Kulang ng hormones. Okay? So there is underproduction. Underproduction. Kulang ng ano? Eh di kulang ng aldosterone, kulang ng androgen, kulang ng cortisol. Lahat kulang. Oo, Addison's disease. Okay. Ano naman po yung etiology? Okay, causes. Una, possible cause, alam nyo ba na may Addison's disease na idiopathic? We do not know the cause. Just happens. O kaya, yung mga pasyenteng tinanggalan ng adrenal gland o natural, wala ka na niyang, di ba, adrenalectomy. Tinanggalan eh. O edi wala na. Okay. Tapos yung sinabi ko kanina, yung sudden withdrawal of steroids. So sudden withdrawal of steroids will also cause Addison's disease. Ayan. Ito yung different causes. Okay. All right. Okay, yan. These are the causes. Some tumor can also cause Addison's disease. Okay, so ano naman ang manifestation? Eh di babalik na rin naman natin. Eh di ang dali lang, no? Oo nga eh. Sige, underproduction daw. Sige nga, sabihin mo sa akin, kulang siya ng androgen. Di ba sabi natin kanina, kung lalaki ang problema mo, may testosterone naman yun. Kung babae naman ang pasyente mo, di naman niya kailangan yun. Pero pag severe ang androgen deficiency, the patient may have muscle wasting. Tama. Kung aldosterone naman ang kulang, sige nga, hyper o hyponatremia. Game. Kulang ha, underproduction. Under. Okay. The patient has hyponatremia. Hyper o hypovolemia. Ayan, hypovolemia. Hyper o hypokalemia. What will happen to potassium? Uy, tanyo, mali. Kapag nilalabas mo yung sodium, naiiwan yung potassium. Pag naman hindi mo naiiwan yung potassium, ano naman ang nilalabas mo? O yan, baliktad. Hyperkalemia. Pag tumataas ang sodium, bumababa ang potassium. Pagka naman bumababa yung sodium, pataas naman yung potassium. Kasi when you remove the sodium, you retain the potassium. When you retain the sodium, you remove the potassium. O, diba? How about BP? Hyper o hypotension? Hyper o hypotension? Hypotension. Again, pwede bang mag-shock? O, anong type ng shock? Anong type ng shock? Okay. Hypovolemic shock. Ito yung delikado dito. This is the reason why kapag severe ang Addison's disease, no? Magkakaroon ng hypovolemic shock, nagkakaroon ng dehydration. Okay? Ang tawag nila dyan, Addisonian crisis. The patient may have Addisonian crisis. Yan. Kaya delikado yan. Sige nga, mababa naman ang cortisol. Oy, cortisol mababa. Hypo o hyperglycemia. Okay. Hypo o hyperglycemia? Hypoglycemia. At lahat ng signs and symptoms ng hypoglycemia. O, di ba? Increase o decrease hydrochloric acid secretion. Decrease hydrochloric acid secretion. Okay. Magkakaroon ba ng decreased digestion? Weight loss or weight gain? Weight loss. Very good. The patient will have weight loss. Wala kasi siyang cortisol eh. Hindi rin niya kaya yung stress, no? And another possible manifestation of Addison's disease, ito gusto ko itong tandaan nyo, patients with Addison's disease will have hyperpigmentation of the skin. Kaya ang tawag nila dito yung bronze skin color. Bronze skin color. Kasi daw, nagkakaroon daw ng increased melanocyte activity. So yung melanocyte, ito yung nagpo-produce ng melanin. So nagkakaroon ng hyperpigmentation. Saan mo unang nakikita yan? Sa gums, sa oral cavity. Tapos sa skin, nakikita yung hyperpigmentation. This is characteristic of Addison's disease. Okay? Characteristic of Addison's disease. Okay? Learning tayo? Are we learning? Okay, very good. So, tignan natin yung picture, no? You tell me when you're done. Pagtapos na, sabihin sa akin. At least ito, naiisa-isa natin. Ano? Wait lang po. Yan, gusto ko yan. Nagsusulat siya. O, sabi niya, ma'am, wait lang po. Very good. Hindi yung picture ng picture. Tapos sinusulat. Sulat nyo yan. Okay? O, sabihin mo sa akin, pagtapos na, I will again, after our class, I will be opening up performance task on CU7 and CU8. para magbasa ka. Matagal naman yung matagal naman yung pag-submission. Pero sana wag naman yung deadline. You are third year already. Ayoko talaga yung, Doc, hindi ko na i-submit. 2 linggo, hindi mo na-submit. Kung jowa mo, ube-breaking kita. Tandaan mo yun. Kung sa'yo ginawa yan. Oo. Okay. 1 buwan, hindi mo na-submit. Break na tayo talaga. Lalo ka na. Kasi magpo-fourth year ka na. Matanda ka na. Hindi na to ulit-ulit. 3 taon na tayong sa online class. So, wag mo na akong i-message. Hindi kita pagbibigyan. Sorry. Ma, last time pinagbibigyan mo kami. Bata ka pa na. Natanda ka na ngayon. Magpo-fourth year ka na. You should be more responsible. Diba? You tell me naman na deserving mo naman maging 4th year at graduating. Ha? Tandaan mo yan. 2 linggo naka-open, tapos sasabihin mo sa akin, hindi mo na ipasa. Tandaan mo. Kung jowa kita, break na tayo. Those are the signs and symptoms. And this is the picture. So kanina meron tayong picture ng hyper or Cushing's disease. This is a picture naman of Addison's. Okay, let's do our management. Hindi ko natanggal yung, sorry ha. So alam niyo na kung anong ginagamit ko sa top rank, ha? Okay. Kasi mas madali may picture tayo sa management. Tinanggal ko nga kanina, hindi ko to natanggal. Sorry na. Okay. Di ba ang patient natin nagkakaroon ng hypovolemia and possibility of hypovolemic shock. So the most important management is, okay, maintain fluid balance. This is very important. We need to prevent hypovolemic shock. Monitor intake and output. Monitor vital signs. Importante talaga. Weigh patient daily. Okay. Provide rests. Promote safety. Provide rests. Promote safety measures. Okay. Ano pa? Replace hormones. Ayun, replace, teka muna, ito muna, unahin ko to ha. Gradual withdrawal of steroids para hindi ka magkaroon yan, diba? And replace steroids. Ano ba kulang sa'yo? It is steroids. O ano ibibigay mo? It is steroids. Okay. Ano yung pang-replace natin ng aldosterone? The aldosterone is replaced by fludrocortisone. Okay? The androgen is replaced by testosterone. Sasabihin ko ulit ha, kung lalaki ang problema mo, huwag mo na i-replace yan kasi may testosterone naman yan. Kung babae ang patient natin, hindi na rin kailangan yan unless there is severe muscle wasting. Again, unless there is severe muscle wasting. Okay. Yung cortisol po, ano pong pang-replace niyan? Di prednisone, dexamethasone, hydrocortisone. Hydrocortisone is parenteral, prednisone is oral. Okay? And when we replace our hormones, kailangan ang replacement natin 2/3 sa morning, 1/3 at sa evening. Why? Kasi we need to follow the diurnal pattern of steroids release. Okay? Halimbawa yung cortisol. Makinig ka sa akin ha. Halimbawa yung cortisol. Ganito daw ang pattern ng release ng cortisol. Sa gabi, mababa yan. Mababa sa gabi. This is night. Okay, night. Tapos, unti-unti daw yung aakyat, slowly increasing until it peaks. Nagpipik yan at about nagpipik yan at about 9 a.m. So mag-uumpisa siyang tumaas about 12 midnight. Tapos slowly peaking at 9. Ma'am, bakit 9? Tapos all throughout the day, pagdating ng hapon, pababa na siya ulit. Bakit 9? Kasi cortisol is our anti-stress hormone, di ba? Eh, kailan ka ba nai-stress? Pag nag-uumpisa na yung araw mo. Di ba? Kapag 9 o'clock ka, stress ka na yan kasi nag-umpisa na yung work mo at 8. So, kailangan may panlaban ka ron, which is your steroids. Okay, so all throughout the day, mataas yan, pahapon, pababa na. Paggabi, baba na. Kaya tandaan mo, kapag nagda-diagnose sila, kukuhanan ka ng cortisol para sigurado na mataas talaga yung cortisol na yan, hindi ka kukunan sa umaga. Kasi sa umaga, mataas siya talaga. So, kailan ka kukunan? Sa gabi o kaya sa hapon. Kasi ang taong merong Cushing's disease, yung steroid niya all throughout, yung steroids niya all throughout the day mataas. Yung steroids niya all throughout the day mataas. So pag kinunan tayo sa morning at mataas, that is normal. Diba? Eh talaga namang mataas yan pag mati. O, para ma-diagnose kung ikaw ay may sobra na cortisol, kukuhanan ka sa gabi o kaya sa hapon. Dapat mababa. Pero kung sa gabi o sa hapon, mataas pa rin yung cortisol mo, may problema ka. This is the this is the diurnal pattern of steroid release. Diurnal pattern of steroid release. Okay? Kaya kapag tayo nagre-replace ng steroid, pag nagre-replace tayo ng steroid, susundan natin ito. 2/3 sa umaga, 1/3 sa gabi. Okay? 2/3 sa morning, 1/3 in the evening. Ma'am, pag wala na po siyang adrenal gland, lifetime na po niyang iti-take yan. Opo. Pag tinanong ka, ma'am, pag sumobra siya ng pag-take ng mga steroids na to, ano ang primary adverse effect? Eh di Cushing's. So sobre. Tama? Tama ba? Do you understand? Yes. Okay. 2/3 in the morning, 1/3 at night, after meals. Bakit after meals? Nagpo-produce nga sila ng hydrochloric acid. So magkukos ng GI toxicity yan. Kaya kailangan tinitake natin ng steroids after meals. Nung araw, you can buy steroids anywhere. Ngayon hindi na. Kailangan ng prescription pad kasi nag-overuse sila ng steroids. Okay? Learning tayo. Parathyroid gland. Okay, CU8. Parathyroid gland. A parathyroid gland are small ovoid glands located at the back of the thyroid gland. Nasa likod siya ng thyroid gland. Kung yung adrenal gland nakikipatong lang sa kidney yan, itong parathyroid gland din nakikipatong lang din dun sa likod ng thyroid gland. So these are actually four small ovoid structures or glands at the back of the thyroid gland. Okay, so nasa likod yan, tapos apat sila. At ano ba ang secretion ng parathyroid gland? This parathyroid gland secretion or hormone, ang tawag ay parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone. Or this is also being referred to as parathormone. Okay? And this is a major hormone that will regulate the level of our calcium in the blood for calcium regulation. Now, aside from parathyroid hormone, there is another hormone that is actually regulate the calcium level. Diba? Yung thyroid gland natin, aside from producing thyroid hormones, nagpo-produce din ito ng calcitonin. Okay. Calcitonin is also responsible for calcium regulation, just like the parathyroid gland. Calcium regulation. Calcium regulation. Okay. So class, um, um, ang tawag dito, ano ang mas nagre-regulate ng calcium level? Is it the parathyroid gland or is it the calcitonin? Ang major hormone that will actually regulate the calcium is your parathyroid hormone. Ito talaga ang nagre-regulate. Okay? The parathyroid hormone will regulate the level of calcium in the blood. Now, before we talk about calcium regulation, let's talk about the importance of vitamin D first. We will review the importance of vitamin D. Pinag-usapan na natin to sa MS1. Pero pag-usapan natin ulit, baka nakalimutan nyo na. Okay? Tapos, ifo-focus natin yung action or functions ng parathyroid hormone at saka ng calcitonin in calcium regulation. We'll talk about the calcium function as well. Okay? So, pag-usapan muna natin yung role ng vitamin D, okay, in regulation of calcium level. So, vitamin D actually is needed for absorption of calcium in the GI tract. Pero ang vitamin D kasi has several forms in the body. Several forms. At ang kailangan natin para mag-absorb ng calcium sa GI tract, yung active form of vitamin D. Okay? So this vitamin D is converted to become its active form through a process. Yun yung i-review back natin. Okay? So halimbawa, meron tayong vitamin D na nasa skin natin. And this is called 7-hydroxycholesterol. This is vitamin D cholesterol. Okay. This is vitamin D in the skin. Okay. Ito ko nalalagay sa taas. 7-hydroxycholesterol. Ayan. This is your vitamin D sa skin. Okay, tapos, so what will happen? When we expose our skin to the ultraviolet rays of the sun, okay, lagyan natin dito ha, exposure to sunlight. Okay. Dapat ang exposure 6 AM to 9. So what will happen? This 7-hydroxycholesterol will become cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol is called vitamin D3. Okay? Vitamin D3. Now, kapag vitamin D3 na yan, ma-absorb na yan sa blood. So, siguro nakikita mo yung commercial, pampatibay ng resistensya rin natin, yung vitamin D3. That's correct. So, from iniinom mo yung vitamin D3 sa blood, doon sa skin, na-absorb din sa blood. So, this is the form of vitamin that is being absorbed in the blood. Okay? So, pag nasa blood na yan, nasa blood na yan, natural, dadaan yan sa liver. So, this vitamin D3 in the blood will pass by the liver. Okay. Pagdaan sa liver niyan, syempre nasa blood yan. Pagdaan sa liver, this cholecalciferol will become another form. Okay. Another form of vitamin D. Ang tawag ay 25-hydroxycholecalciferol. Or this is also called 25-hydroxy vitamin D3. Okay, ito rin ang tawag sa kanya. Pareho lang to. Tapos ito, kapag ganito na daw ang form ng vitamin D, wala ka nang magagawa, ma-activate na yan. So when this one passes by the kidney, so yung kidney ang importanteng organ that will actually activate, no? The kidneys will activate this form of vitamin D. So magiging ano to? Magiging 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol or 25-dihydroxy vitamin D3. Class, this is the most active form of vitamin D. Okay, and what is the action of this? This will help, okay, help calcium to be absorbed. Okay, help, or this will actually increase, tingnan natin, calcium absorption in the GI tract. Kapag wala nito, hindi ka makakaroon ng absorption. Kahit anong laklak mo ng calcium dyan, hindi yan mangyayari kasi wala kang vitamin D. That's why vitamin D combined with vitamin D combined with calcium, iba mas mahal sila kaysa sa mga generic na calcium supplements lang. Kasi kailangan mo yung vitamin D para ma-absorb natin ang calcium. That without vitamin D, the calcium will not be absorbed. And guess what? The activation of this vitamin D is also helped by our parathyroid hormone. So may role din ang parathyroid hormone dito. Yes, para mag-activate yung vitamin D para ma-absorb natin ang calcium from the GI tract. Okay? So importante pala tong calcium na to naman. Okay. At yung calcium natin, marami kasi itong location, di ba? Saan-saan ba nakalagay yan? Sa bones. Siyempre naman, dami nating calcium dyan. That will help our bone to become very strong, di ba? Yung teeth and enamel, naku, mas marami sa teeth. Diba? Mas matikas yung teeth natin kaysa sa bone natin. Oo. And this is responsible for the strength of the bone. Nandiyan din yan sa muscles. Siyempre, which is responsible naman for muscle contraction. Sa lahat ng klase ng muscles, nandiyan yung calcium. Okay? Ano pa? Siyempre, nandiyan yan sa blood. At sa blood natin, merong dalawang klase tayo ng calcium. Ito yung ionized calcium. Ionized calcium. So pag sinabi natin ionized calcium, ito yung free calcium. Yan, calcium plus plus. Ito yung free. Ito yung unbound. Okay. Tapos class, ito yung mini-measure natin na tumataas at bumababa. The normal value is about 8.5 to 10.5 milligrams per deciliter. Ito yung sinasabi natin na tumataas o bumababa kapag may hypercalcemia tsaka may hypocalcemia. So pag sinabi natin hypercalcemia, there is high calcium, ionized calcium, more than 10.5 milligrams per deciliter, or hypocalcemia, that is decreased ionized calcium less than 8.5 milligram per deciliter. Yan yung minimeasure natin. Sa blood natin, meron din tayong unionized calcium. Yung unionized calcium is actually the calcium binding with other substances. Okay, yung calcium na nakabind sa protein, yung calcium na nakabind sa gluconate, yung calcium na nakabind sa carbonate. So when they are binded with other substances, an ionization. Hindi kasama yon sa measurement natin. Pag sinabi kong tumataas ba o bumababa ang level ng calcium sa blood, what we are actually measuring is the ionized calcium. Ito yun. Okay, so yung calcium na to, iba ang function sa calcium na ito. Magkakaiba sila. And this ionized calcium particularly is functioning, ito ha, ang function talaga niyan is for impulse transmission in the nerve, for irritability of the nerve. Yan ang function niya. So, sasabihin ko na, pag hypocalcemia, there is increased irritability. Madali silang ma-stimulate. Kapag may hypercalcemia, there is decreased irritability. Okay, ito yun. Ito yung pinag-uusapan natin when we talk about problems in calcium. So pag sinabi natin yung hyperparathyroidism, anong effect sa calcium? Pag sinabi natin hypoparathyroidism, anong effect sa calcium yun? Although dalawa ang nagre-regulate ng calcium sa blood natin, the parathyroid hormone and the calcitonin, it is the parathyroid hormone that will actually regulate this ionized calcium in the blood. Okay, did you get that? Did you get it? Yes. Okay. Okay, very good. So I will turn the page now. I turned the page already. Ay, page 3 agad. Page 2 muna. Ayan. Turn the page na ako. Okay, let us see. Ano nga ulit ang ginagawa ng parathyroid hormone? Parathyroid hormone will increase calcium in the blood. Anong calcium ang pinag-usapan natin dito? Yung ionized calcium. Okay. Balik daw, balik. Ayan. Balik. No, you tell me when you're done. Pag yung tapos na magsabi, yung hindi pa tapos, sabihin lang. Tapos na? Okay. So this will increase the level of calcium in the blood. Again, anong calcium ang tinataas nila? Yung ionized calcium. Yung mini-measure natin. So, kapag bumaba yung ionized calcium less than 8.5 milligrams per deciliter, we release this parathyroid hormone para tumaas yan. Paano ba ginagawa ng parathyroid hormone yan? Paano niya ini-increase yung calcium sa blood? Okay, number 1, parathyroid hormone will increase calcium resorption. Okay, pag sinabi mong calcium resorption, ano yun? Kumukuha ng calcium dun sa bone. Halimbawa, ito yung bone. Ayan, yung bone natin. Yan. Diba yung bone natin, merong calcium yan, di ba? Tapos itong calcium na to, dinadala sa blood. Ito yung blood. So the calcium here from the bone, yan, kasi maraming calcium dyan, now it will go to the blood. This is called calcium resorption. Pumupunta sa blood. Okay. Parathyroid hormone can do this, di ba? Ma'am, ano nga po ang cells na nagko-cause niyan para yung calcium dito ay pumunta sa blood? Ayun, yung osteoclast. Nag-i-increase ang osteoclast activity. Di ba? Yung osteoclast activity is the one responsible for bone resorption. This is for bone resorption. So one function of parathyroid hormone is to increase the osteoclast activity. Nakakasunod tayo. So tataas yung calcium sa blood, di ba? Another function of your parathyroid hormone or action to increase calcium in the blood is this parathyroid hormone will increase calcium reabsorption. So ibig sabihin, instead of removing it from the kidney, okay, imbis na matanggal na sa kidney, imbis ito yung kidney, di ba? Ilalabas na niya yung calcium eh. So imbis na ilabas niya yung calcium pa sa ihi, so ang gagawin, i-reabsorb back. So imbis na i-remove mo yan, the calcium goes back to the blood. So, hindi mo maiihi yung calcium kasi ibabalik mo siya sa blood. So tawag doon, reabsorption. Okay? So may function ang parathyroid hormone sa bone, may function ang parathyroid hormone sa kidney, okay? And letter C, yung pinag-usapan natin, there is increased absorption of calcium in the GI tract. Okay? So from the GI tract naman, okay, halimbawa, tayo ng GI tract. Okay. From the GI tract, ayan, ito yung ating stomach, ayan yung small intestine, ayan. So the calcium now is actually absorbed, okay, to the blood. Ayan. So from the GI tract, the calcium is absorbed. Ayan. From the GI tract, pumabalik to sa blood. Naalala mo, kanina sabi natin, ano nga yung role ng parathyroid hormone dito? Parathyroid hormone helps to activate vitamin D. Kaya yung parathyroid hormone, major ang function niyan in calcium regulation than calcitonin. Pero yung calcitonin naman, so yung parathyroid hormone nag-i-increase ng calcium sa blood, yung calcitonin naman, calcitonin will decrease calcium in the blood if there is a need to. Now, under normal circumstances, dapat balance yan. Hindi mataas, hindi mababa. So, konting taas lang yan, calcitonin is released. Konting baba lang yan, parathyroid hormone is released. Pero ano ang mas mataas na regulation? Yung parathyroid hormone. Kaya kapag tumataas ang calcium, yung parathyroid hormone hindi nare-release para hindi siya tataas. Okay? O ano yung problema natin sa endocrine? Di ba ang problema natin, parathyroid hormone? Oo, dalawa lang naman yung problema eh. Either over-secretion or under-secretion. Hyperparathyroidism o kaya hypoparathyroidism. Diba? O, kung ang parathyroid hormone taga-increase ng calcium, so pag sumopara yun ng parathyroid hormone, what will happen to the level of calcium? Increase or decrease? Again, what will happen to the level of calcium? Increase or decrease? Increase or decrease? Dalawa lang sumagot. O 30, 31 na lang tayo. Daling sumagot tayo. Yan. So the calcium will increase. Okay, so hyperparathyroidism is associated with hypercalcemia. Okay, and hypoparathyroidism will result to hypocalcemia. Kaya nga sabi ko, na-discuss na to sa fluids and electrolytes kasi pinag-usapan na natin yung hyper and hypocalcemia. Okay, ano po ba ang mas common dyan sa dalawa na yan? Ang mas common dyan yung hypoparathyroidism. At yung hyperparathyroidism, the most common cause of which is tumor. Di ba sinabi ko naman sa inyo, yung mga tumor na nakikitubo na lang sila sa katawan natin, nakikirelease pa sila ng mga hormones natin. O, di ba? Sige, let's talk about them. No? At ano ang clinical manifestation and what will happen if there is too much parathyroid hormone or if there is too much too less of parathyroid hormone. Okay, magbabasa ka ng modules ha. Binasa ko yung modules nyo kanina tungkol dito. Sabi ko, simple lang naman. Madali namang maintindihan. Hyperparathyroidism. Okay, ano ba yung mga possible causes? So there is over-secretion of parathyroid hormone or increased secretion of parathyroid hormone or overproduction of parathyroid hormone. Anong sabi ko? Most common cause ay tumor na nakikitubo na lang, nakikirelease pa ng hormone natin. That's hyperparathyroidism. Pwede rin namang we do not know the cause. Pwede pala yun. Yeah. Pwede yan. We do not know the causes. Hyperparathyroid. Pero ang pinaka-common cause ay tumor. Tumor ang common. Pagka mayroong mga overproduction ng hormones, sipin mo may tumor to. Okay? O kaya hyperplasia. So if there is overproduction of parathyroid hormone, what do we expect of calcium level? Natural. There is hypercalcemia. Diba? More than, lagay natin, more than 10.5 milligrams per deciliter. Ano nga ang action nito? Diba sabi natin, the ionized calcium is responsible for irritability of nerves. So pag sobra, decrease ang irritability. Pag kulang, increase ang irritability. Baliktad yun ha. So again, pag may hypercalcemia, you decrease irritability of nerves. Ma'am, anong nerves? Lahat. Kasama po ang central nervous system. Yes, kasama ang central nervous system. So the patient will have CNS may be affected. So the patient may have altered level of consciousness. Uy, pwedeng matulog ang patient, pwedeng makomatose ang patient. Yes. Delikado pala yun. Oo naman. Okay. Tapos, decreased irritability of nerves. So there is decreased impulse transmission in the muscle. Decreased impulse transmission to the muscles. So what will happen? What will happen? The patient will have muscle weakness. Muscle weakness. Nagma-muscle weakness ang patient. Okay. Ma'am, yung calcium na to, nakaka-apekto ba to sa heart? Oo naman. The decreased irritability of nerves will affect cardiac rhythm. Nakakakita ka ba ng abnormal ECG changes? Yes. Hypercalcemia will cause shortened QT interval. Naku, nagkukos ng dysrhythmia ito at nakaka-apekto sa kidneys. Yes. Okay, ano pa? Yung hypercalcemia may cause deposition of calcium to become stone. So there is increased stone production in the urinary tract. Anong tawag natin doon? Kapag merong stone in the urinary tract, di ba, one type of stone in the urinary tract is calcium stone. Di ba? So the patient will have urolithiasis. Urolithiasis. Increase stone in the urinary tract. Nako, pag may stone pa sa urinary tract, pwede bang magkaroon ng obstructive nephropathy? Pwede bang masira yung kidney? Pwede bang masira yung kidney? Yes. Okay. So alam na natin what could happen, ha? Kasi meron kang stone, pwedeng bumara, pwedeng magkaroon ng kidney failure, etc. So kidneys, heart, the brain will be damaged with hypercalcemia. Are we following? Nakakasunod tayo. Nakakasunod ka. Yes. Okay. And by the way, I opened up the task already. I have 2 tasks for you para sa CU7 and CU8. Ang deadline, November 15. That's more than a month. Walang excuses to, mga anak, ha? Oo, ha? Isip ka naman, November 15, tapos gagawin mo sa November 14. O, diba? Tapos pagpas mo, November 16 na. Sorry, 0. Okay? Tanda ka na eh. Okay? So this is your hyperparathyroidism. So delikado pala sa heart, delikado sa kidneys, delikado sa brain. Yes. Okay. And how do we diagnose? Diagnostic test. Siyempre, we check the level of parathyroid hormone. Check the level of parathyroid hormone. Check the level of calcium. Tapos we can do our CT scan or MRI to be able to check kung ang ating kung yung ating parathyroid gland ay may tumor, kasi the most common cause of which is tumor. Okay, so how do we manage our patient? Management. We need to promote safety. Meron kasing alteration in the level of consciousness. At ito pala, very important. Increase oral fluid intake. Bakit? Why do we need to increase oral fluid intake? Why? Why do we need to increase oral fluid intake? Why? Why? Increase oral fluid intake. Why? Why do we need to increase oral fluid intake? Why? Why? Uy, why? Tignan mong mabuti yung board. Ano sa palagay mo, ano ang kailangan dyan ng maraming tubig? Diba? Ayun, kasi may stone sa urinary tract. Para mailabas mo lahat yung stone na yun, di ba? Para hindi siya mamuo. So we need to increase oral fluid intake. That's very, very important, di ba? Promote safety kasi may muscle weakness. Okay. Monitor vital signs. Monitor ECG. Oh, importante yun kasi meron kang cardiac problem dyan. Diba? And number 5, kung ang cause nito ay tumor, which most likely tumor ang cause, we need to do surgery. At yung surgery is parathyroidectomy if there is a need to. Okay? So, kung tumor yan, baka kailangan natin ng chemotherapy or radiation therapy. Depende sa tumor. Kung cancerous ito, radiation therapy. Ayan. So, this is our hyperparathyroidism. Okay, parang hypercalcemia lang ang tech. Diba? Na-discuss natin sa fluids and electrolytes. So, learning tayo. Why do we need to increase oral fluid intake? Kasi there is increased stone formation. Yung increased stone formation na yun, yun ang ang tawag dito. Yun ang kailangan ilabas ng water intake. Okay? Okay. Okay lang. Balik ang slide kanina. Okay lang. Ito. Ito yung slide kanina. Okay na to? Sabihin mo sa akin kung okay na. O, ito. Are you done writing? So, let's talk about hypoparathyroidism. Sabi sa inyo, maiksi lang yung CU7 tsaka CU8. O, di ba? Pag nakita tayo, CU9 na. Samantalang this is just, di ba kaka-exam lang natin? Tama, kaka-exam lang last week. Am I right? Kaka-exam lang. O, di ba? 1 week pa lang. Tapos na natin yung dalawang CU. Ma-advance tayo. Very good ako. Very good. Okay, tapos na? Done already? Okay, so let's have number 4. Okay. Number 4, ito naman yung hypoparathyroidism. Okay. There is underproduction of parathyroid hormone. Ano naman ang etiology? The most common etiology is total thyroidectomy. Pag tinanggal kasi ang thyroid gland, pati parathyroid gland matatanggal kasi nasa likod yun eh. Diba? So hypoparathyroidism, the most common cause is total thyroidectomy or yung tinanggal natin kanina, parathyroidectomy. So surgical removal. So wala kang parathyroid hormone. Diba? So pag walang parathyroid hormone, so what will happen? This will also decrease, di ba? Decrease parathyroid hormone secretion, and decrease parathyroid hormone secretion will also decrease your calcium in the blood, di ba? And this will result to what? Hypocalcemia. Oh, pinag-usapan natin to. So ano naman ang effect ng hypocalcemia? Hypocalcemia will cause increase irritability of nerves. Increase irritability of nerves. Increase irritability of nerves. Anong nerves? Lahat. Okay. So initially, yung peripheral nerves, the patient will have numbness, diba? Numbness and tingling sensation. Ano ang tawag dyan? Ang tawag dyan, paresthesias. Okay. Nako, do you increase impulse transmission from the nerve to the muscle? Yes. Impulse, increase impulse transmission from the nerve to the muscle. From the nerve to the muscles. So, ano makikita mo sa muscles? Nagkakaroon sila ng tetany. Naalala mo ba yung Chuvostexine? Chuvostexine. Okay. Ito yung pag tinap mo yung facial nerve na gano'n, gumaganon yung patient. That's Chuvostexine. Tapos, naalala mo yung carpopedal spasm. Ano naman to? Ito yung Trosusine. Naalala mo yan? Trosusine. Kapag binibi mo yung pasyente, gumaganyan siya. Ayan. So these are signs of hypo o hypercalcemia. Hypocalcemia. Hypocalcemia. Nag-i-increase kasi yung irritability ng nerves. Pwede rin bang maapektuhan ang central nervous system? Ito yung worst. Kasi kapag hindi natin na-control yan, what will happen? The patient may have seizures. Kasi there is increased impulse transmission in the brain. So ito naman yung clinical manifestation ng hypoparathyroidism, which are also manifestations of hypocalcemia. Tandaan mo yan, Chuvostexine at saka yung Trosusine. Tsaka yung mga numbness and tingling sensation. So yung hypoparathyroidism is associated with hypocalcemia. Do you understand? Do we understand? Okay, let's do our management. Siyempre, anong management natin? Kulang ka ng parathyroid hormone. Lagay muna natin ito. Promote safety. Number 2, diet. Anong diet? Increase calcium-rich food. Okay. Number 3, we give calcium supplements. Calcium supplements. Siyempre, dagdagan mo ng vitamin D. Importante kasi yun. Dahil hindi ma-absorb ang calcium kung wala kang vitamin. Safety, carpopedal spasm, etc. Okay? O, tapos, basically, ang ginagawa natin dito, we are just replacing calcium. Wala ka palang parathyroid hormone. Bigyan mo na lang calcium. So, kung total thyroidectomy ito, class, ang calcium mo, ibibigay mo na lifetime. Yes. Lifetime na ang calcium. Okay. Alright. So, ano pa ba? Siguro, lagay na lang natin, prevent complications like seizure. So, yung hyperparathyroidism is associated with hypercalcemia. Tapos yung hypoparathyroidism is associated then with hypocalcemia. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yes. Uy, 33 na naman kami, consistent. Oh, Miss President, yung ating attendance. Okay, so this is just hypo and hyperparathyroidism. I will stop the recording now.